नमस्ते, हमेशा खुश रहो बिटिया। आई एम डॉक्टर सुमन आहूजा, असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर, काय चिकित्सा डिपार्टमेंट, Faculty of Ayurvedic Science, Jyoti Vidyapeeth, Women's University. So today in the series of osteoarthritis lecture, I'll take second session which deals with the different types of osteoarthritis. For that, I'll play few slides for you for a better understanding for the different classification, different type of the osteoarthritis. So first type is generalized nodal osteoarthritis. So there are eight characteristic of generalized nodal osteoarthritis are polyarticular finger interphalangeal joint osteoarthritis. So this is the first characteristic of the generalized nodal OA, that there is an involvement of polyarticular finger interphalangeal joints, and there is a formation of nodes that is called as Hibberdon's nodes or Hibberdon's nodes. They are present with Bicard nodes or without Bicard nodes, and it has a marked female preponderance. This is mainly majorly prevalent in females. Peak onset is in middle age, and it has good functional outcomes for hands. Predisposition to osteoarthritis and other joints also, especially knees. It has strong genetic predisposition. Now, some patients of generalized nodal OA are symptomatic, whereas others develop pain, stiffness, and swelling of one or more proximal interphalangeal joint and distal interphalangeal joints of the hands from the age of about 40 years onwards. Gradually, these develop posterolateral swellings on each side of the extensor tendon, which slowly enlarge and hardens to become Hibberdon's, that is Hibberdon's nodes, which are present in distal interphalangeal joints, and Bicard's nodes, which are present on the proximal interphalangeal joints. So once OA is fully established, symptoms may subside and hand function often remains good. So this is the diagram of picture of nodal osteoarthritis. You can see there is a bony enlargement. These are the bony enlargement. These are the deformities, and these enlargements. This is the X-ray view of the nodal osteoarthritis. So this is the hyperextension of the first metacarpophalangeal joint. So these are the diagrammatic representation. So distal interphalangeal joints, they will show the Hibberdon's nodes enlargement, that is called as Hibberdon's nodes, and proximal interphalangeal joints enlargement of at proximal interphalangeal joints called as Bouchard's nodes. So affected joints are enlarged. As we saw in the previous slide, that affected joints are enlarged as a result of osteophyte formation and often show characteristic lateral deviation reflecting the asymmetrical focal cartilage loss of OA. Involvement of the first carpo-metacarpal joint is also common, leading to pain on trying to open bottles and jars and functional impairment. Clinically, it may be detected by the presence of crepitous on joint movement and squaring of the thumb base. If you see the previous picture, this is the deformity in the first carpo-metacarpal joints, and this also swelling here caused the square thumb base, and these are the osteophytes. These pointed projections are called as osteophytes, and these enlargements are called as nodes. So these are Hibberdon nodes, and these are Bouchard nodes. So involvement of the first carpo-metacarpal joint is also common, leading to pain on trying to open bottles and jars and functional impairment. Clinically, it may be detected by the presence of crepitous on joint movement and squaring of the thumb base. So this shows the squaring of thumb base shows the swelling of the first carpo-metacarpal joint. Generalized nodal OA has a very strong genetic component. The daughter of an affected mother has a 1 in 3 chance of developing nodal OA herself. People with nodal OA are also at increased risk of OA at other sides, especially the knee. Now, second type of osteoarthritis, which is more prevalent in the joint, that is knee joint. So in knee joint, OA principally targets the patellofemoral and medial tibiofemoral compartments, but eventually spreads to affect the whole of the joint. It may be isolated or occur as a part of generalized nodal OA. Most patients have bilateral and symmetrical involvement, and in men, trauma is often a more important risk factor and may result in unilateral osteoarthritis. The pain is usually localized to the interior or medial aspect of the knee and upper tibia. Patellofemoral pain is usually worse going up and down or downstairs or inclines. Posterior knee pain suggests the presence of complicating popliteal cyst, that is also called as Baker's cyst. Now patient feels prolonged pain on prolonged walking, rising from a chair, getting in or out of a car, or bending to put on shoes and socks. So pain is felt and these activities become difficult for the patient. Now this is the diagram for the this is the diagram for the changes which occurs at the knee joint, and for that patient feels pain in the joint while doing all these activities. Now next is, what is the local examination? A jerky asymmetrical gait. So the gait which present in the osteoarthritis called as antalgic gait. That gait is a jerky asymmetric gait with less time on weight bearing on the painful side. So whenever patient moves, osteoarthritis patient moves, it puts less time on weight bearing joint on the painful side. A varus, or less commonly valgus, and or fixed flexion deformity. So varus is the lateral, valgus and varus medial. This is the changes in the knee joint. That is the banding of the knee joint, lateral banding or the medial banding. So lateral banding or the outer banding or the inner banding, then it is called as valgus and varus deformity or a flexion fixed deformity. Joint line and or periarticular tenderness, secondary anserine bursitis and medial ligament enthesopathy causing tenderness of the upper medial tibia. Weakness and wasting of quadriceps muscles, restricted flexion and extension with cos capitis, bony swelling around the joint line. So these are the findings which can be seen while a local examination of the knee joints. Now CPPD crystals, that calcium pyrophosphate crystal, dihydrate crystal deposition is associated with OA, and this is a very common phenomenon at the knee and may result in a more overt inflammatory components, that is stiffness, effusions, and superadded acute attacks of synovitis, that is called as pseudo gout, which may be associated with more rapid radiographic and clinical progression. Next important osteoarthritis is hip OA. Hip OA is most commonly targets the superior aspect of the joint. It is often unilateral and frequently progresses with supralateral migration of the femoral head, and it has a poor prognosis. Very less common central OA shows more central cartilage loss and is largely confined to women. It is often bilateral. So superior aspect of the if there are changes on the superior aspect of the joint, that is often unilateral, but when changes in the central part of the hip joint, then that is a bilateral in presentation and can be associated with generalized nodal OA. It has a better prognosis than superior hip OA, and progression to axial migration of the femoral head is uncommon, which is very common in the OA superior aspect of the joint. The hip shows the best correlation between the symptoms and the radiographic change. Hip pain is usually maximal, deep in anterior groin with variable radiation to buttock, anterolateral thigh, knee or shin. Lateral hip pain, worse on lying on that side with tenderness over the greater trochanter, suggests secondary trochanteric bursitis. Common functional difficulties are the same as for knee. In addition, restricted hip abduction in women may cause pain during sexual intercourse. Now this is the diagram for the hip OA. So first picture is showing normal joint space as the arrow indicates, and the second picture there is a loss of the joint space narrowing, and there is the bony spurs which are not present in this normal picture. So this is the picture of hip OA. Now, in the examination of osteoarthritis in the hip joint, if we see in the patient, examine the patient, patient will show an antalgic gait as we see in the knee OA, weakness and wasting of the quadriceps and gluteal muscles, pain and restriction of internal rotation with the hip flexed, the earliest and most sensitive sign of hip OA, pain and restriction on internal rotation with hip flexed. Other movements may subsequently be restricted and painful. Anterior groin tenderness just lateral to the femoral pulse, fixed flexion, external rotation, deformity of the hip. Ipsilateral, leg shortening with severe joint attrition and superior femoral migration. Ovacity is associated with more rapid progression of the hip OA. So next important osteoarthritis is spine osteoarthritis, very important in cervical spondylosis, and in lumbar region it is named as lumbar spondylosis. So the cervical and lumbar spines are the sites most often targeted by OA, and they are referred as cervical spondylosis and the lumbar spondylosis respectively. Spine OA may occur in isolation or as a part of generalized OA, and a typical presentation is with pain localized to the low back region or the neck, although radiation of pain to the arms, buttocks, and legs may also occur due to nerve root compression. The pain is typically relieved by rest and the worse on movement. And on physical examination, the range of movement may be limited and the loss of lumbar lordosis is typical. The straight leg raising sign or femoral stretch may be positive, and neurological signs may be seen in the legs where there is complicating spinal stenosis or nerve root compression. So this is the just a minute. I'll show you the diagram of this is the diagram of spinal osteoarthritis. Spinal osteoarthritis, where there you can see the pointed part of the bone projecting outside. This is the spur of bone. They are called as osteophytes, and there is the narrowing of the disc. So these are the commonest feature which are present in the cervical spondylosis. This is a same kind of feature can be found in the lumbar spondylosis. So these are the features of OA spine. Now, next type of osteoarthritis is early onset osteoarthritis. Unusually typical symptoms and signs of OA may present before the age of 45. That's why it is called as early onset of osteoarthritis. In most cases, a single joint is affected and there is a clear history of previous trauma. However, specific causes of OA needs to be considered in people with early onset disease affecting several joints, especially those not normally targeted by OA, in which cases rare causes need to be considered. There is one rare form called as Cushing-Beck disease Cushing-Beck disease that occurs in children typically between the ages of 7 and 13 in some region of China. Causes unknown, but suggestive predisposing factors are selenium deficiency and contamination of cereal with mycotoxin producing fungi. So causes of early onset of osteoarthritis is if only single joint is involved, then the causes can be previous trauma, localized instability, posteoarticular or polyarticular. Juvenile idiopathic arthritis, metabolic or endocrine disease like hemochromatosis, ochronosis, and acromegaly. Spondyloepiphyseal dysplasia, late vascular avascular necrosis, neuropathic and Cushing back disease. So these are the these are the causes of the early onset osteoarthritis. Last one is erosive osteoarthritis. This term is used to describe an unusual group of patients with hand OA, and they have more prolonged symptom phase with more overt inflammation, more disability, and worse outcome than those with nodal OA. Distinguishing features include preferential targeting of proximal interphalangeal joints, subchondral erosions on X-rays, occasional ankylosis of the affected joint. So this is the picture which is showing the erosive arthritis, like erosion of the distal interphalangeal joint. See, there is a one term written that is gull wing. Like picture this, because of the erosion, the margins of the joint, margins of phalanges, they are like the wings of the seagull bird, and there is, because of the origin, there is a uneven surface of the joint, interphalangeal joint, that it gives the appearance of sawtooth. So this is the diagram showing erosive osteoarthritis. So thanks for watching this video. So all which in this session we discussed all types of osteoarthritis which are commonly present in a population. So I hope you are satisfied with the session, and this session was powered by 2.0 powered by digital 2.0 version. And if there is any query, any question, please write in the comment box. That will be resolved later on. Thank you so much.